joining us for another edition of The Akronist. I am pleased to have with me today retired cardiologist Dr. Terry Gordon, who also authored the book No Storm Lasts Forever. And as a Crusader, he's going to talk to you about his latest mission. Dr. Gordon, welcome.
Thank you. So nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Dr. Gordon, you are a Crusader. I want you to talk about your latest crusade and mission.
Well, it actually started over a decade ago. Josh Miller, a 15-year-old high school football player from Barberton, ran off the football field, and he collapsed, and he died. He died of a cardiac arrest, and kids are not supposed to do that. And I had the unfortunate experience of watching the video of Josh's death, and it was the most sickening thing I'd ever seen. In that normally boisterous stadium, you could hear a pin drop except for the wail of his mother. And so I, as president of the local chapter of the American Heart Association, decided we weren't going to let that happen again in our community. And I set out on a mission, and that mission was to save the lives of our most precious resource, our children. And what we decided to do was to raise the funds to put an AED, an automated external defibrillator, in every junior and high school in our community. And once we did that, we trained 12 individuals in each school, and then I thought, well, what about Canton? And what about Cleveland or Cincinnati? And so then we expanded that mission, and we convinced the state legislature to grant $5 million, and we placed over 4,500 AEDs, defibrillators, in schools throughout the state of Ohio. We trained 5 individuals in each school. We aligned them with the local paramedics and 911 service, and became the first state, actually in the world, to do something like this. And we've the great news is we've had a number of saves. We've had at least 20 saves as a result of that. The most recent one was a 7-year-old about 3 or 4 weeks ago who was saved in school.
A 7-year-old having a cardiac?
A cardiac arrest, yes. It's usually a congenital heart defect that happens, or often it can happen if you're struck in the chest with a baseball or a football or something like that.
I see.
And so the natural extrapolation was then, once you finish with the state of Ohio, what about nationally?
Absolutely.
And then Congresswoman Betty Sutton called me on the phone and asked me, Terry, do you think we could do this on a national level? And I said, no, ma'am, I don't think we can. And I remember her response. She had this deep sigh when she said, well, why not? And I said, I don't think we can. I know we can. And that's not being cocky.
Okay.
That's called the power of intention. And the power of intention is this. When you intend something to be, it's already there. The end product is already there, and all you do is keep your eye on that end product and you work toward it. Now, you're going to hit some obstacles,
right,
but you don't take your eye off of that end product.
Okay.
As opposed to thinking you want something and you're blinded by what's right in front of you. And then you hit that blockage, and then you can't see where you're supposed to go. So the power of intention is something that you put out there, and whatever it is you want, you can achieve. It's just a matter of finding the right avenue to get there.
So you're in a waiting pattern for the Senate?
Well, the bill passed the U.S. House of Representatives twice. It's called the Josh Miller Hearts Act. The problem has been getting it through the Senate, and there was a person in the Senate that blocked our bill. A doctor, by the way.
No.
Yes. And he liked the bill, but the reason was fiscal responsibility, because it was going to cost money, and he refused to pass any bills that there wasn't money for. So that's where the bill is right now.
The next time we talk, I believe we're going to talk about how that bill passed.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about No Storm Lasts Forever. When I saw the title, Transforming Suffering into Insight, talk to me about this book, the purpose of it, and your storm.
Well, first of all, if you think about it, God has never created a storm that lasts forever. Never done that. Now, storms can be pretty bad, and they can last a long time, and they can come and go, but there's never been a storm that lasts forever. This was actually 6 years ago yesterday. Our son Tyler was involved in a car accident, and he flipped his car over and over and shattered his neck and ended up being paralyzed, quadriplegic. And within an hour of receiving that phone call, I was on an airplane flying out to Colorado where he was. And it was on that flight, and it was just the worst 3 hours of my life because I was incommunicado and I didn't know if Tyler was alive, dead, brain damaged, or bleeding from internal organ injuries. And I was in this chaos. All these thoughts were banging inside my head. And I remember saying to myself as I was in this tornado, it was just loud and whooshing and dark and dank, and I kept saying, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't. And gradually, I became enveloped in this cocoon of white noise. And it became this place of unfathomable peace, but I still was saying, I can't do this, I can't do this. And I can't tell you that I heard the voice of God, but I heard the words clearly when God said, yes, you can. And I said, but I don't know how to do this. And God reminded me that everything is in perfect order. Even this injury is in perfect order. And when I pleaded with God to help me, God shared with me one of the most profound thoughts I've ever had in my life when he said, treat this as if it was something you had chosen. Now, why would I do that? Why would I choose such a horrific injury such as this? What good could come from such a catastrophic injury? And then it hit me that the only way that we learn, the only way that we grow is through adversity. And that when we're facing things like this, we're not being punished. We're not bad people. We haven't done anything wrong. We're being given a gift.
A gift?
A gift.
A gift.
A gift. If you think about it, when everything's hunky-dory, cushy, life's great. It might be fun, but you're not really growing much. In order to grow, we must face greater and greater obstacles, because it's only by overcoming those obstacles that we reach this place of higher awareness. There's a quote from the Kabbalah, which is the ancient mystical text of Judaism, that says, it's the falls of our life that provide us the energy to propel us onto a higher path. It's the falls of our life. So when you look at something that happens of this magnitude, you have a choice. You can either refuse the gift and victimize yourself and suffer for the rest of your life, or you can accept the gift and learn everything there is from that gift and grow and become more enlightened. So we really should be grateful for the crap that comes our way.
We should be grateful.
We should be grateful for it.
Oh my! So tell me, how are you grateful for what you've gone through and what you're going through?
Well, first of all, from a personal perspective, I have grown immensely through this experience. More importantly, though, my son has grown immensely. Now, from the get-go, my prayer for Tyler was not that he would walk again. I didn't have the audacity to tell God what I thought he should do. My prayer for my son was that he would heal. And I'll tell you, the first 4 years were not real good. Tyler was very angry, very upset. Something happened about 6 weeks ago. He is quadriplegic, so he can't purposefully move his legs, but he has this involuntary spasm where he jerks up into almost a fetal position, and he's actually jerked himself out of bed. So I heard him call out in the middle of the night, and I went running in there, and he's hanging on for dear life. He's holding on to the bed rails. His legs are dangling over the side of the bed, and so I got him back into bed, and it's 3:30. We're both wide awake, so we started talking. And he asked me this question that was so poignant when he said, Dad, if you could be anybody else in the world and go anywhere else and nobody would know you made that choice, who would you want to be and where would you want to go? And I shared with him that I had had a similar thought about a month before that, because everything seemed to be caving in at that moment. And I felt like running away from home. And I started thinking, well, if I run away from home, who would I want to take with me? Where would I want to go, and what would we do? And I realized, as much unfun as this is, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And I told Tyler, I said, you know, son, I don't want to be anybody else, and I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. And Tyler said, you know, Dad, I'm glad you said that, because I feel the same way. Which is huge, huge. So my prayer for Tyler's healing was right there. Because he realized this is his lot. He's grown immensely through this. And that's what life is about. Life is about this transformational enlightenment where we grow, we expand, we elevate, we get onto a higher path of enlightenment and awareness. That's what this is all about. It's not about crafting a legacy that we leave behind, or a name that's up on a building, or a gazillion dollars. That's not what this is about. Our purpose for being here is transformational enlightenment. It's for growing through our experiences and becoming more enlightened, hopefully at some point reconvening with the source of everything, God.
In the few minutes we have remaining, I want you to look over there in that camera and encourage someone who has no hope, who their suffering is weighing them down, and they definitely don't look at it as a gift.
Well, the choice is this. You can stay in that place and suffer, or you can choose to learn every single thing you can from the experience. And rather than trying to avoid those experiences, you anticipate them. And what you need to do, you need to get rid of the attachment to what you consider good. Let go of that attachment as much as you let go of the aversion to those things that you think are not so good. Because they're really one and the same. Most of us think in terms of duality. There's hot, there's cold, there's good, there's bad, there's high, there's low. The truth is, they're all one and the same. Darkness is just a paucity of light. So light is on this side, darkness is on this side, but they're really one and the same. So you embrace the adversities. You're grateful for the crap that comes your way. And in doing so, you become more enlightened and more peaceful.
Dr. Gordon, how can they get in touch with you? Would you share that as well?
Sure. My website is www.drterrygordon.com. Doctor is just DR, no period behind it. Terry is Terry. Gordon is Gordon. And I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and Google Plus and all the others. So yes, and I put out daily affirmations, so if you'd like, you can go to my website, click on that you'd like the daily affirmation, and every morning you'll be awakened by a daily affirmation.
I'm going to do that. No storm lasts forever.
It doesn't.
Thank you
You're so welcome.
much.
God bless you.
God bless you.